right, guys, so this is our last writing video for this week. And so lots of you sent in to me your ideas for what you wanted to write about. And so we're writing a narrative, and so a narrative is a story, but it's a true story about you, something that really happened. And so the reason that we're calling it a seed story is because it's not about lots of different things that happened on Saturday or on the weekend. You're just going to choose one thing, okay? And so, like I said before, some friends are writing about a soccer game. Some friends are writing about a game they played with their families. Somebody's going to write about when they made paper airplanes with their family. So one thing that you did on the weekend on Saturday. One friend's writing about helping to clean the kitchen. So that friend didn't spend the whole Saturday cleaning the kitchen, but that's something that he did on the weekend. So hopefully you remember that you had this as one of your assignments. And so you were supposed to kind of decide, once you figured out what your story was going to be about, you were going to say, who are the characters? What's the setting? Where were you when that was happening? And then kind of talking about the beginning, the middle, and the end. And so I did some writing there. And then also remembering to include those details. We have the who and the when, and we've got the what and the where. So giving us also even maybe some feelings. How were you feeling? What was it like when you were doing that activity? We also have to remember there's so much to do when we're writing. We're having to do details, we're having to think of beginning, middle, end, but we also need to remember all of those things that we learned in kindergarten about writing sentences correctly. And so I've been getting a lot of writing from you guys that the ones that I've been getting, they're great ideas and great things that I'm seeing that you guys are writing, but a lot of friends are forgetting capital letters, or you're forgetting a period. All right, so capital letters at the beginning of a sentence, spaces between your words, a period at the end, okay? Reading it to yourself. Don't send it to me unless you have read it to yourself 3, 4, or maybe even 5 times, just like in our classroom. Remember, you can't come and read your writing to me unless you know what it says. So you check it. You go through your writing and make sure, did I put a capital at the beginning of each sentence? And then if you decided to draw a picture, which you don't have to because it's really tricky to do on your iPad, unless you want to draw a picture on a different piece of paper and send that to me, you are welcome to. But this is why I might send something back to you. So if you do your narrative writing and it's really great, but you forgot periods and capitals, I'm going to send it back to you. All right, and I want you to fix that. So if you don't want me to send it back to you, check it yourself. Check it lots of times. All right, so I sent to you actually 3 pages, and I know that that seems like a lot, but I just wanted you to have enough paper. If you don't fill it all, it's okay. But I'm going to use kind of my other plan that I had started with, and so remember, my seed story was when I was opening gifts at my party. And so I'm going to say that you know what I forgot to say in here? When it happened. And so I'm going to say last summer. So I'm going to say last summer, and I'm using a space in between my words, trying to make sure my letters are on those lines. So if you guys want to do writing on a separate piece of paper, do what works the best for you. So last summer, I was feeling excited to open my gifts at my party. Last summer, I was feeling, and I'm making sure that I'm sounding things out, stretching words apart, writing sounds that I hear. Remember, if I don't hear that sound, I can't write it. I can only write the things that I hear. So if I'm writing the word feeling, then that's E, double E, feel, ing, ing. Last summer, I was feeling excited. Excited. And that word excited has a C in it. I know that's tricky. Cited to open my, we know that word, my, gifts, gifts. Last summer, I was feeling excited to open my gifts at my party. So right here in this very first sentence, I told you what was happening, and I told you when it was happening. I opened my gifts, and it was last summer, and I gave you the detail about how I was feeling. And then I'm going to say, I was sitting, ing, I-N-G-ing. I was sitting at a table. All right, so now maybe you can use your imagination to imagine that I was sitting at a table. I'm at a party. I'm feeling excited. It's the summertime. And then I'm going to say first, because that's one of those transition words when you're writing about the beginning. Capital letter at the beginning of that sentence. First, my aunt put all the gifts on the table. All right, so I was sitting at the table last summer feeling excited, and then my aunt put all the gifts on the table. Ooh, I want to fix my A. Even teachers make mistakes, and we need to fix them. So first, my aunt put all the gifts on the table. And then in my plan over here, I had said I looked around and I could see my whole family watching me. I started to open the first gift. Then I saw a big bag to open. So that's like the middle of my story, right? So all of this is the beginning. And so now I'm going to switch to just a different color to show that it's the middle. So I'm going to say, I looked, and we know L-O-O-K, looked. In most words, they don't ever end in just a D. It's usually an ED. I looked around. Ooh, around, that's one of those words that starts with an A that sounds like a U. Around. I looked around and, A-N-D, and I could, ooh, could is a tricky word, but we've had that in our sight words before. I could see my whole family, period. I looked around and I could see my whole family. I know when I'm doing writing and you guys watch me do writing, I hope that what you notice is that I always go back and I read the sentence I just wrote so that I can see it and fix anything that I need to fix right now instead of doing all of it and then going back. I like to do little bits at a time. It helps me in the end. I looked around and I could see my whole family. I started, art-ed, to open the first gift. And I'm hoping that you're noticing that I'm putting spaces in between my words. So I started to open the first gift. Then, ooh, there's that other transition word telling us the sequence, the order of things. Then I saw a big bag to open. Period. And I'm going to go back. So I looked around and I could see my whole family. I started to open the first gift. Then I saw a big bag to open. All right, and then in my plan, now is where I get to the end, and I said, finally, I opened my big bag and I got so happy. So I'm going to switch colors just to show that it's the end. So I'm going to say, finally. Remember, we're starting our writing with a capital letter. So finally, I opened my big bag and I got so happy. And in my plan that I had made, I put an exclamation point right there, because usually when you're happy and you're opening gifts, you don't say, I opened my big bag and I got so happy. You're excited. And so punctuation like that is okay. We don't want to put one of these after every sentence because we're not excited the whole time. Okay. I got an iPad. Period at the end. And then I said, wow. And you know, we've been noticing that in books sometimes authors put all capital letters when something amazing is happening. So it's okay to do something like that. Wow. That was the best gift. Period. Oop, I want to fix my T, make that T a little bit better. All right, so I think I'm done. I've got a beginning, I've got a middle, I've got an end. I have words like first, then, finally. And so now I want to make sure, I'm going to go back, I'm going to read it all, make sure that it makes sense, that I know what it says, that I've got spaces, that I've got periods, capital letters at the beginning. Okay, capital letter, period. So once I see a period, it means that I need to see another cap. Okay, there it is. There's that capital letter. I'm just going to go to a period. Okay, now I should see a capital. That's the beginning of a sentence because here's where it ended. So that's the beginning. All right, so I'm just going through, making sure I get to the period, and then there's a capital. And I go, and I go, and I go, period, and now a capital. And I go, and I go, and I go, period, capital, go through, period, capital, ooh, exclamation point, capital, period, capital, 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 period. So I've got capital letters, I've got my punctuation, my periods, and my exclamation point. Now I'm going to read it. Last summer, I was feeling excited to open my gifts at my party. I was sitting at a table. First, my aunt put all the gifts on the table. I looked around and I could see my whole family. I started to open the first gift. Then I saw a big bag to open. Finally, I opened my big bag and I got so happy. I got an iPad. Wow, that was the best gift. So I know that was long. That was a long video to watch, a long lesson for you. But remember, this is not due until tomorrow. And so if you don't have a plan yet, if you didn't write a plan on that paper that I sent you, if you didn't write a plan on a separate piece of paper, it's going to be tricky for you to do writing if you haven't made a plan. So make a plan. Talk about it. Show your plan to a grown-up. It's okay to say to a grown-up, hey, my teacher wants me to read my plan to you. Can you check my plan? That is okay. All right? And so again, when you do your writing, you can do it on a different piece of paper and you can take pictures of it with your iPad if you want to and send that back to me if it is too tricky to write on that paper. If you have a printer at your house, there's 3 little dots at the bottom of the pictures, and you can print the paper, or, are you ready for this one? If you click on it, you can save it to your camera roll. You can save all the things that Mrs. Mendoza sends you. I'm pretty sure you can save them to your camera roll. If you can't, let me know, okay? But there's a few different ways that you can get this done and send it back to me. And remember, it's not due until tomorrow, all right? But you need to read that to yourself lots of times. Don't send me something where I'm hearing you and you don't know what you're saying, okay? If I start to listen to you and you don't know what you're saying, I'm going to send it back to you and I'm going to say, I'm really sorry. It doesn't sound like you know what you are saying. So practice, 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 practice. It's going to take a long time. It's hard work. Remember, we can do hard things. We can't be ready for 2nd grade just sitting on the couch. We got to do some hard stuff, okay? But you guys can do it. I have faith in you.